Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Today I will be going over my power sheets with the results for the month of March and then my new power sheets for the month of April as well as the beginning of the second quarter. So let's go ahead again with the March results. So my first category is health, which is this light blue color. So the first monthly action and actually only monthly action item I had for this category was just to purchase a water bottle, and this water bottle is one of like the bigger gallon water bottles that has like the 7 a.m., 9 a.m. or whatever markings, so it kind of paces you to drink your water throughout the day. And I wanted to purchase that because one of my future goals for health would be to hydrate more. So I figured that would be a good marker to know how much water I drink in a day. So I did purchase that. Up next on my weekly action items, I have the exercise 3 times a week. As you can see, I have no check marks there. I did exercise a few times this month, but it wasn't enough to get a check mark. So what I'm going to do next month is just lower this amount and then slowly build my way back up. And then I had 2 daily action items. So I had an AM routine and a PM routine. And for my morning routine, I actually did pretty good. I have a good number of check marks here. And then for the PM routine, looks like I have a little bit less than half. And I kind of struggled with when to put this check mark or not, just because there are multiple items in my routine that I do. And if I did some of them, but not others, did that deserve a check mark? When would I do it? So what I decided to do going forward is just choose 1 or 2 key components of that routine and choose to focus on that for the month. And that way it's easier to know if I got the check mark or not because it's just one item. So you'll see that in April power sheets. The next category is my work category, which is this blue color here. And the first action item I wanted to do was to update my resume. As you can see, this is blank. I did not have time to do it this month. This is still a priority for me, but I decided that since I have a lot of other things going on right now, and because I'm not leaving my job anytime soon, I don't really need to do it right now, like this instant. It's not really an urgent matter. So it is still on my to-do list and is still a priority to get done sooner rather than later. It's just I need to focus on other priorities right now, and then eventually I'll get back to the resume. The next work item is a weekly action item, and this is for Tidy Tuesday. And this one I did pretty good. I did about half the times I was able to. So I actually count this as a Monday to do. So on Mondays, I have coding club, and that's where we do this Tidy Tuesday activity. And the first week, I forgot what I was doing, but I was out of town or I was busy that day. Something happened where I couldn't go. So I just graded out because I didn't have the opportunity to even do it. And then the other 4 Mondays, I did have the opportunity, but I only did it for the first 2. So I really like this. I think it's a good practice for me to kind of get more familiar with this style of coding. So I decided to carry it over to April, as you will see later. And then the last work habit that I wanted to do was to edit around at least 15 minutes a day. And this one I did not do so great in. It's more of like a make progress. Like I mentioned before that I'm still struggling with the verbiage for this goal. So as you can see, I changed the words next month. And so far that one kind of seems to be working a little bit better because it's a little bit more of a broad term. The next category is recreation, which is this green color. So the first to do was to make a new email address. And I explained this in the last video I made, but because everything goes to that email, it was kind of getting overwhelming and I wanted to kind of have it separate. But then I thought about it and I decided that that may not be the best thing, which is why I put the black marker through it, because I decided that this wasn't necessarily a goal anymore. And that is because instead I didn't want to get too overwhelmed with too many emails and, having to check all these places. But instead I also just unsubscribed from a lot of email lists so that now I don't get as many emails and it's not as overwhelming. So I think so far that's going to work. But again, in the future, if it still gets overwhelming and I want to separate like my shopping email from like my bills, important emails, then maybe I'll, get a new email address in the future. But for now, I think I'm going to stick with the one. The next action item I had was to finish my 2019 scrapbook. As you can see, I did this. I'm so happy. So now I am working on 2020 scrapbooking. And I mainly got this done because my weekly action item, I made myself scrapbook 1 spread every week. And actually, this should be grayed out too. And I did that and I really enjoyed it. Actually, it was a nice way to just relax, kind of like force myself to relax and take a break. And if I didn't do that like every week, this one challenge would have seemed really daunting, and I was able to break it up into bits to make it a little bit more manageable. So I'm really happy about that. And then the last recreation item I had was just to light a candle every day. As you can see, I did not do so well, but the days that I did, I really enjoyed it, as I knew I would. So I decided to carry this habit over to April. The next category is friends/family, and I have mailed 2 cards. And as you can see, I have another black line through this because I decided not to complete this goal. And that is because, well, one, I'm moving soon and I didn't want these people to have still have my old address, and I don't know how long it would have taken them to send out the card. So I didn't want to have that letter be lost in the mail. And plus, one of the people that I was going to was going to mail the card to was just someone else on YouTube that accepts Happy Mail. And I just decided that, I could have written her a letter, and I think it would have been fun to kind of be pen pals a little bit, but at the end of the day, is it really worth it? I don't know. So I just decided not to. Maybe in the future, if she again, says, feel free to write me a card, I might do it. But for now, I'm just going to leave it as is. So the next category is my YouTube category, and I didn't have any monthly action items, but I did have a weekly action item, which was to post on YouTube every single week, and I did that. And so far, I've been pretty good with sticking to my schedule. And I'm trying to just get caught up on all the videos that I have filmed. I just haven't edited and obviously uploaded them yet. So once I get caught up, I will lower the frequency that I post every week. However, until I catch up, I think I'll continue to do 3 videos a week. And so far, it hasn't been really that bad keeping up with it. The next category is my home category, and I have one monthly action item, which is to declutter the dresser and the nightstand. And Colton and I did that pretty early on in the month, actually. So we will continue to declutter different parts of the apartment throughout the rest, or until we move, basically. So that declutter goal has been carried over to Q2, and you'll see a new area in April that we choose to declutter. And then the last home action item we have is to have our cleaning to-dos, or mainly me. And I did not do so great on this. I still did better than I normally do, I would say, but I decided that I would only get the check mark if I did it on time. So a lot of these I would have to, whatever day I scheduled it for, I would have to push it back and say, I'm going to do it tomorrow. I'll do it whenever. And I still did it, but just not on time, which means I didn't get the check mark. So I'm carried over this task to April to try to be better about doing it on time. And then the last category is my finance, and this was just to make my sorry tracker. And the sorry tracker is for I like to make board game goals, like coloring sheets for every goal that I have, just to kind of visually see how the progress I've made and how much I have left. And this sorry tracker was for my emergency fund. And if you watch my budget with me, you'll know that I actually completed my 3-month emergency fund this month. So I made the tracker and was able to color it all in for it. So I'm really excited about that. And I have this to do has been on my list literally all year. So, and I happened to get it done the month that I finished the emergency fund. So it is what it is, but I like looking at it, and it's nice to see the progress I made visually. So that is all for my tending list for March. Let me show you what my new tending list looks like for the first month of Q2 in April. Okay, so this is my April tending list, and as you can see, I already have a few check marks here and there, and that is because I am filming this during the second week of April. I'm filming this a little bit late, but it still will go up the day. Actually, it's going to go up today, the day I'm filming it. So anyway, let's go ahead and get started with the April goals. So again, I'm going to start with my work category. And the first monthly action item I had was to defend my proposal. And I did that. I successfully defended and passed yesterday, which is a huge accomplishment. I'm so happy. So that is already checked off. And then the next work to-do list is just to make a game plan for my qualifying exams. These won't happen for probably at the minimum at least another month. So I wanted to kind of make a study plan type thing, an outline to kind of pace myself to study for them so I don't save everything for the last minute. So that is kind of my to-do for that. And then up next is, again, Tidy Tuesday. Like I mentioned before, I decided to carry over, and I'm happy I did that so far. And then the rephrasing that I mentioned before, it used to be edit 15 minutes, and now it's just make progress. Just any progress towards my proposal or dissertation or whatever it is, just do something. And so far, because again, I defended my proposal yesterday, which was the 9th, I did a lot of work this past week, which is why there's a ton of check marks. And then I just decided to gray out my days off, Saturday and Sunday, just to give a little bit of rest. So I don't, because if I left it blank, it would look like I purposely didn't do anything, but I just wanted to kind of differentiate between you're allowed to not do anything this day versus you didn't do anything this day, if that makes sense. And I also realized I forgot my first category, which was health. Exercise 2 times a week. I lowered it down from 3 to see if that'll help. And this first week it didn't. And I'm blaming it on the fact that I was busy. I know that's a lame excuse, but I just was. So we'll see if this works in the future. And then, like I mentioned, with my morning and PM routines, I decided to break up those tasks into individual tasks. So from the morning routine, I need to take some medicine, and I've been decent at it so far. And then from the PM routine, I have my PM meds and brushing my teeth, and I've been not so great at these either. The past couple of days, I've kind of been too stressed to really do anything, which is not very good, but I'm hoping to get back into it in the next coming days. And then the next category is Colton, and I only have one item on this list, and that is for date night ideas. So at the front of the month, I use these PowerSheet, I don't know what these are called, just these add-on lists kind of, and this is just a to-do list for date night ideas that I want to do before we leave Miami. And so this is just a growing list of places to go / eat before we move. So that is just for that. And I think at the end of the month is when I'll cross it off, just because I think this list is going to be an ever-growing list. So there won't really ever be like an end point to it. The next category is recreation. And this is kind of my catch-all category because as you'll see, I kind of changed categories up a little bit, but my recreation is like if I want a goal, but I don't really have a category for it and it doesn't really fit in any of the other goals, I'm going to put it here. So this is to update my automatic backup. This is just for my computer. And then again, this is where I moved the light candle category to. And so far I've been doing pretty good on that. The next category is this peach color, which used to be friends and family, but I decided for this quarter that this will be specifically my crafting category. So I used to have recreation and crafting kind of molded into one, but I decided that crafting should have its own goal. So the first action item I have is just to finish making these coasters. My mom and I have one right here. This one's a bad one, but made these coasters, and the bottoms are like super rough and like can scratch surfaces. So I just want to put a paper over it and then put some padding on it to make it just a little bit softer. And I need to finish those up. And then like I carried over from last month, I just want to scrapbook one spread a week. The next category is YouTube. So the first action item is just to make an Instagram / Pinterest template. This is mainly for when I post videos. I can just put either the thumbnail or just a random screenshot from that video into this template and easily post it on the social media platforms, just so I can have a cohesive look for my brand, as well as, having some sort of template already put in place, so it'll be easier for me to post because I really want to start getting into a better posting schedule on these two platforms instead of just YouTube. And then the other one, like I carried over from last month, is just to post one YouTube post a week. The next category is cleaning. And again, we're still on that declutter train. This month we are focusing on the bathroom. And then I still carried over my cleaning to-dos to do in a timely manner. And then finally, my last category is to restructure my the category is financial, but the goal is to restructure the budget. And that is because I paid off my emergency fund, or I finished my emergency fund last month. So I had some extra money and I wanted to figure out what I wanted to do with it. So I was able to restructure the budget. And I actually did that pretty early in the month because I mainly needed to for my budget. And again, so this is where, so you can see again, make Sorry tracker. So when I filled out my PowerSheets, I filled it out at I think the 30th of March, and I was like, okay, I'm not going to have time to do the salary tracker. I'm going to put it on next month's goal. So I wrote it down, but then I ended up having time to make the salary tracker on the 31st. So that's why it's marked on both. And because it was here, even though technically I didn't do it in the month, I still checked it off because I didn't want it to be blank because I already did it. So it's marked in two places. I made a little mistake. I got ahead of myself, but it is what it is. So that's all for my power sheets for the completion of March and then my April goals. Let me know what goals you are prioritizing in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button, and I'll see you next time. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a good day. Bye-bye.